This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Okay, great. So welcome everybody. Good afternoon. And today is April 6, 2022. This is the meeting of the Council on Aging Advisory Board, and we are being recorded, and we do have a quorum present. So I'm going to, even though I failed to list open time for the public, I'm going to ask, we have a couple of folks that may be new faces to some. So I'm going to start with Giselle and explain who you are.
Hi, I'm Giselle Gaines. I'm a resident of Springfield. I work for an adult day health center, one in Springfield and two in West Springfield, Quality Life 1, Quality Life 2, and Canas. In Quality Life 1, we have two residents of Southampton that we offer transportation to. And I just had a meeting and they asked us to go out into Southampton more participants. That way we can offer that transportation from Southampton to West Springfield more comfortably with more clients. So I started looking up more information about you guys and I bumped into this meeting and it was today. So I was excited. I'm part of the Springfield Council of the Aging as well here. And I have some experience volunteering. I have a group called Community Hands 413. It's a collaborative of different types of healthcare providers that come together, and we do pop-up health fairs to bring resources to different communities. And we also do some giveaways. So we do, like, we fill up bags with food and household items and give them to housings. So we set those up monthly and we go around the whole Pioneer Valley and do that. So I'm very happy to be here. Get to know you, be a friend of the Council of the Aging, and hopefully, contribute some of my gifts and talents as well.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for joining us.
Nice to meet you.
We'll do some research on your side next, so that'll be great. And I'm just going to do a quick introduction of Susan C Bolton, and I'm going to let her speak. Susan had expressed a little interest on the Council on Aging. So I invited her to attend this meeting, which is obviously open to the public. Susan is new to Southampton by a couple of years. She tracked us all down on the pickleball court and found where the COA folks play and has been an avid participant. I feel, knowing her for the last year, that she certainly has an energy and a lot of interest that would be a nice compliment for the board. So I'm hoping she feels the same way by the time the meeting's over. So Susan, you want to say a few words?
Yeah, thank you, Janet. I'm not sure what more to add than that. I have a husband who has health issues. So I'm used to, I think, having to think about, my husband has Parkinson's. So it's like he's older, even though he's not that old. So I do think I'm familiar with an older population and the needs of that older population, but it's really coming sort of from a personal life. I was a teacher, but a preschool teacher. I worked with a very young age group in the way past. But I'm a real fan of Southampton, and I'd love to contribute in whatever way I can.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for joining us today. And seniors are from 60 and above. So the whole gamut of things that we try to accomplish here to appeal to everyone that falls into that bracket, and sometimes a couple years younger. So thanks again. So let's move on to the approval of the minutes. Anybody else, anything to share before we move into the meeting? I'm sorry. Welcome, Susan, as well.
Welcome.
Okay. Good. We'll move ahead into the minutes real quick. Anybody? I had found a couple little things, Jim. That was it. Nothing major, but I at the very end, the people present, Jonathan had no last name. So okay, so Jonathan.
Okay.
And let me just, I saw one other, and maybe you meant it this way. Joan Linehan thanks the interns. I said thanked, but maybe thanks is the appropriate word. Maybe that's appropriate because it was present tense, I guess, at that point. So
it should be actually thanked. I think past tense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So good. I will just wanted to question that. I think that was the only couple of things
I don't even have that in my version of it.
Huh.
Where was that under?
That was under just before interns report.
Oh, okay. Yep, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, great. Anybody else have anything they want to mention, or do we have a motion?
I'll move that we accept the minutes from the last meeting as corrected.
Okay, do we have a second?
A second.
Jonathan, second. Josie first. Great. All in favor, quick roll call. Because we're on, for those observing, because we're on Zoom, we're required to do a verbal roll call. So I'll go through the list. Jonathan?
Favor, aye.
Josie?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Sylvia?
Aye.
And Janet, aye. So minutes are approved as corrected. Thank you. All right. We'll go into the treasurer's report. Let me just bear with me for a second. I thought Nancy said she was going to try to make it, but.
And I apologize. I was supposed to review it and add anything that Nancy didn't have time to do. She was on vacation last week, and I apologize for not updating. I think there was one payroll that's missing.
And I think she did some updating, Joan. I sent you a message back.
Oh, thank you.
And mentioned that.
I feel terrible. I'm trying to do what I can, and then it seems like I promised to do something and just run out of time.
Okay, so this is, I think, updated through the last week of March based on whatever you sent her, Joan, I think.
Great.
Okay. So wages are tracking. So we have a revised budget for the COA director's wages of $33,224.26. And we have $79,334 remaining for the end of the year. We have a town wages for currently the interim administrative assistant, $5,813.51 with a balance of $32,0427. State formula grant, we have based on the newly signed documents through approved by the select board and signed off by Bradley and approved by Joan of the $14,496 based on $12 per person based on the 2012 or 2010 census, because we haven't gotten the breakdowns yet. So there was a letter to the legislatures and it said, yes, that's $1 a month per senior. When you put it in that, it doesn't sound like a lot, but
oh my,
we'll take it. So we've spent about a little bit over halfway through that, and it is April, so we have some opportunity there that Joan and I were discussing. Frida, I mean, I have to talk to Nancy because I think she took something off of the budget sheets that Bradley sent out. We do have a $28,000 budget from Frida by contract. It doesn't reflect it in the reports because of the type of grant it is. So we have, I'm going to have to work on correcting this. But it does say, so
yes.
I need to look at this because it looks a little off. I think we've spent 15,000 out of 28 to be correct on that. So I'll work with her, Joan and I. Okay, Joan?
Yes, yeah, that the top line should be 28,000, not 8,900.
Yeah. So I don't want to mess with her spreadsheet. I'll let her know.
Just 28 or 28,900?
28 even.
28,000 even.
We may have received 8,900 to date, and maybe that's what shows up in the reports from the town, because we never reflect the full 28,000 in the town report, but because of the kind of reimbursable grant that it is. And we've collected $6,600 in van revenue.
So that sounds like a lot, but I think the fares, and then it's the reimbursable, the checks that we get for wages.
Okay. So those are, we'll again get together with Bradley, I think, and get a clearer picture on that. It's a very difficult grant to track on a spreadsheet, as Josie can speak to. So Josie, for those of you that are new, Josie was our treasurer and established this great tracking sheet. And Nancy's done a great job by enhancing it. So local revolving. So Joan, this is the one, did you meet with Bradley about the revolving? Because I thought there was a carryover.
He sent us an email, so it may not reflect there. He did send an email, or I'm sorry, I did not get to look at that this week.
Okay. I know typically we have a kind of a pre-meeting before today, but with Nancy not being available, we weren't able to do that. So we'll get that straightened out. Our expense account of $1,229, we have spent $475. This is CARES. This is no longer applicable. The gift fund, if somebody writes a check and gifts it to the COA, it says we have $350, but we haven't spent any of that to date, but that's there. And then the Memory Cafe, I'm not sure. I think Nancy would have to explain this too. It looks like she's tracking what's come in.
That's right. That was for three months, $997.50.
So we're tracking again, similar to the Fritta grant. We have $39.80, I think, off the top of my head. I don't remember exactly. And we've spent to date, we've gotten reimbursed $997 of that $39.80.
And it goes through, I believe, September 30th is the first year.
Yep. That's a federal grant. So, okay. And we will be adding another column called ARPA, and we'll be receiving $50,000 from earmark funds for the Council on Aging. That contract was also implemented by the Select Board, as well as the, Bradley has sent it back in. So
town accountant.
Yeah. Yes, our town accountant, Bradley Oshkin. Okay, any questions on that? So Jim and Jonathan, were you able to read this spreadsheet that Nancy sent in Excel?
It's sufficient for my purposes, but could you just go over the last column so I can put it in the minutes? I really.
Okay.
What is it, ARPA?
ARPA. There is not a column right now. ARPA, American Rescue Plan.
Right.
Act, that the state has earmarked $50,000 specific to the Council on Aging.
Okay. Yes. Now I know. I remember getting the sheet.
Sorry. That does. Yeah, I sent out the contract. That does have to be. I think we have 2 to 3 years. I'd have to go back and look at it to spend that money. That's not a 2022, you have to spend it all by June type of situation. So we'll hopefully go through some thoughtful moments on what would be the best way and what Joan thinks would be the best way for her to invest that. So
and that's on the agenda for tonight as well, isn't it?
Yep. And so any other questions on the, yes, Rini.
So we're about 3/4 through the year, and some of the funds are underspent. I don't know if it's a counting thing, but do you anticipate, Joan, that it'll be on track by the end of the year? Or
so I am foreseeing that the position that's been open since the 1st of October, we're hoping to spend down a little quicker the wage line, but it doesn't sound like in the foreseeable future that may happen. So the wage line may not be spent down. The expenses we can spend down.
Yeah, that's just a matter of whether it comes from the state formula grant or from the town, because there's certainly expenses there. So,
Well, the town one doesn't carry over, but the state formula grant does. So
I think you need clarification. I don't know that the state formula grant carries over. I don't think we have to zero balance it, but again, unless we get something in writing from them, Joan, I haven't seen that written any place.
But anything that's unspent will be added to free cash. I mean, or it'll be taken and to even out lines. So I just want to,
understand it, but I don't want to spend haphazardly and with a vacancy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's anything we can do about the wages from the town. We have somebody.
Yeah.
And we've had a few months of somebody not there. Nancy has just joined us, and so has Katie and Gianna. So welcome. Nancy, we're on your spreadsheet. I don't know. I'm fending them off.
Okay, I'm just getting in the car. So
I know.
I
mean, it's not up on your phone yet.
Yeah, I can see it.
No, I think that the questions more that Maureen has are more about, are we going to spend? I mean, it's when you only get $1,229 for expenses, certainly shouldn't be an issue in spending that money down.
And we've had, CARES Act funds. We've had the Highland Valley funds, which we needed to spend some as well. I would be glad, 1,000 of it goes to the volunteer luncheon, which we're going to discuss later.
That's the state formula grant, though. We're talking about the expense line.
I'm sorry. Right. It's It gets to be confusing. So we can look at the expense account. I'm sure that we can spend it down. I know Laurie's not here tonight, but she's very good at spending that down.
Well, that's usually the state formula grant too. I think it's certainly maybe some things we're charging to the state formula grant should be charged to the town instead. So we'll have to take a look at that.
I can do that. Correct.
Okay. I really couldn't follow much of that, and I'm not saying that I should be able to, but I don't know how I'm ever going to get it in a minute.
Jim, I would suggest the only thing you have to say is that we're 3/4 through the year and just seeing if the lines are on track. That's all.
Okay.
I don't think you have to go into any more detail than that.
And maybe that Joan's going to follow up on it.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and we can do transfer. Bradley, the accountant, can transfer, and whether we take it from the state formula grant, if we take it from the expense line, he can transfer that. Like we have some things from CHH engraving, which are plaques, and we can.
I was just going to point that out. That should really probably come from the expense account, not from the state formula grant.
Oh, okay.
But that's not up to you, Nancy. That's
not up to you, Nancy.
I'll look for the new warrants or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, those kind of things should,
And actually programming, I was concerned about the spending all the money from the formula grant for programming, and instructors have been from the revolving account, but I don't know. I'll have to look at that.
Okay. Yeah, I think, anytime you need either myself or Nancy to kind of brainstorm with, we've always offered, right? So.
Yep.
Yes, Jonathan.
So for clarification, because I'm confused, which of the monies are we, other than that they come to more than $1,229, are we in danger? Do we have a good chance maybe on the track that we're on now? Which of these columns do we have? Which of the sources of money are we not likely to spend out?
Well,
that's been budgeted for us.
I would say that the state formula grant wage line, or the town wage line.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Because it was open for a few months, so we didn't pay out during the time between when Darlene stopped and Mary came on board. So that one probably, So the Safe Formula Grant is dependent upon whether or not we're able to hire somebody between now and the end of the year. So that's one that may not get fully spent, but we have time to kind of put our heads together and determine what is it that we need that we don't have at this point in time. And I think the other one that also Rini was referring to is the town expense report, town expenses, which isn't a lot of money. And if we can't find a way, you know, if that's something we don't need as a department in town, there are places that need it. So we need to make sure we spend smart, but apply the proper, you know, expense codes and spending to certain things like, and I'm like the engraving that probably should come from the town expense account as an example.
So just those two.
Yeah, I think the director's salary will be spent.
So on C, so on the wages, the town, if we don't spend it all, where does it go? Does it go back to the town? Does it go to another department?
It goes to free cash, which gets certified in 2022.
Right, but before that happens, what happens is in the last 2 weeks of the fiscal year, which are the last 2 weeks in June, and then I think for a week or two into the fiscal year, all of the lines have to kind of be leveled out. So if there's a large amount of funds in a particular account because we didn't have a staff member or something, if there is a similar kind of a need that some other line is overspent, then the select board might vote to take the funds from this account and apply them to this one. So there's a lot of leveling out that happens in the weeks that straddle the new fiscal year. So it's just good to use the funds, but if not, and then if at that particular point, if everything's leveled out and there's excess in any lines, it'll be added to the free cash number.
But to use all of that number, all of that's still available.
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah. It's just that a lot of the percentages in the bottom of the sheet are not at 75%. So I was just questioning to say, are we still on track? Is it a matter of, you know, being conservative, or are there bills still yet to be accounted for, that sort of thing? I was just checking in.
I think there was a quill bill that needs to be accounted for, so it'll be off the expense account.
So on the wages account though, if we don't hire, say we hire someone May 1 for that open position, are we going to be able, will we be spending all of what's left in column C this fiscal year, or will there be some left over?
Most likely we have it spent, but because they're having more hours and they're having a higher wage per hour. So if we hire somebody, we could possibly have it spent.
Okay, so but the alternative to that, would an alternative to that, if we're not able to do that, to spend the money on someone else's wages, like, you know, other part-time, other temporary employees to help with any projects that need to be taken care of?
It has to be by department, I believe. So we would have to give it back to the town for them to
by
use
department. Okay, so I need a little education here. What do you mean by department?
By the Council on Aging. So if the Council on Aging doesn't have we have 2 staff members, only one is on wages. That's the administrative assistant. So if we can't spend it on her, then it'll go back to the town as of June 30th or July 1st.
Unless there's an end of year transfer, which is what Rini was referring to, where one department may have overspent.
Right.
They have the ability to transfer to another department within like June and early July. It's called end of year transfers. And they get presented to the finance committee and then presented to the select board.
Okay, but what you're saying, what I'm hearing you saying then is that the COA cannot use that for anything for any other employees at this point. It's either used for that new position or it's not.
Well, it's being used right now for the administrative assistant, the interim person.
Right, but between that and then the new position, if anything's left over, it doesn't matter. I mean, we can't use it for anything, any other employee.
Right. Jonathan, the lines in the budget are approved by the town based on individual lines. It's not by department. So therefore, any changes in lines within a department have to be approved by the select board in a very small window of time. If there's excess, then, like, for example, winter roads is already overspent. So there'll be an attempt to, they do, Ed does make recommendations to pull like topics together, like an insurance thing might be shared between insurance charges. It's not totally random, but you can't just move things within your own department to cover things. And you can't take a staff member position that's leftover money and apply it to expenses for something else, because the town approves the budget based on the lines of the budget. So then there's a chance to make transfers within a department in a window of time. And then after that window, money might be taken to cover other expenses in the town. And then anything excess at that point becomes free cash.
Thanks.
Okay.
Good explanation.
Can I have a question to follow that up? This is Nancy.
Of course.
So Rini, does the Council on Aging lose any of that money in the following year? Or,
no, the whole budget, the whole budget starts all over again. And unless there are cuts to departments right now, tonight's the Finance Committee meeting and Select Board meeting together to kind of go over that. We already saw draft 1 of the budget. I'll tell you right now that what was presented to us last week is $101,000 in the red. And then the local school committee came in with a 3.5 or something % increase. So now, between now and the next 2 weeks is when everything gets changed. So I don't anticipate cuts to the Council on Aging budget at all, but I can't say where everything's going to land.
Okay, all right.
I don't anticipate it. But I don't. It's all.
Yeah,
it's all on the table.
We had extenuating circumstances, which is why it wasn't all spent, right?
Right. And the same thing with the assessor's budget. You're in the same boat. So I don't anticipate, that won't be taken away, especially if PQB and the select board approve the rate and the hours for the position, unless it's an across the board cut, like we had to do a couple of years ago when the pandemic, started. I don't anticipate that would be taken. In fact, the select board asked Ed to put in COLAs because we can't go there again.
So the other thing just to remember is that we did have post-summer pandemic restrictions, and then we were closed for a month. So some of the monies that we would have spent in maybe our expense line or the state formula grant weren't as great as having a full 12 months of full activity. So, and that's always, we have one more. Hopefully that changes by July 1, that we have 12 whole months of function in the senior center. So that's the other thing that impacts the COA with classes and things and expenses that isn't always applicable across the board. Okay, do we have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I move.
Jonathan. Second?
I so move.
Second. Sylvia? Thank you. All in favor? Jonathan?
Aye.
Josie? Josie? You're muted, sorry. Unmute for a minute.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Jim?
Aye.
Sylvia?
Aye.
Nancy?
Aye.
And Janet, aye. That's unanimous. Okay, great. Thank you. All right. I don't know if we have a Friends update since the meeting is next week, Jonathan.
That's correct.
So
there's been no meeting of the Friends since we last met in March.
Okay. So you'll probably get 2 reports next time again. So a double report, maybe.
Yeah,
All
don't miss it.
Okay, try not to. Okay, let's have an update from Katie and Gianna. First on, just a reminder, next April 13th, the Code Red event. I was in the center today and I added my name to the list. So if you're not on the list yet that you're attending, please remember to either call Joan or walk into the senior center, get your name on the list to attend the event on April 13th, and maybe you can speak to that a little bit more.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just going to ask, do you want board members to attend, or are you, I mean, just to be there?
We'd love anyone to attend.
Okay. No, I mean, I certainly want to support the work you've done. It's been wonderful to have you. But I didn't know if you just wanted us to attend, because I'll attend.
I mean, we may learn something, Jim.
At my age, I doubt it.
We've broadened the topics to be older adult safety and not just Code Red. So Code Red is now a subtopic of the event. And we have the police chief and the fire chief and some members from Triad coming. So if you want to mingle with any of them, it would be a great opportunity to do so.
Great, thank you.
So that's going to be at the senior center?
Correct.
And what time is that?
Next Wednesday at 11 a.m.
And just FYI, there are 2 lock boxes waiting to be delivered to you guys. So
awesome.
Okay, for your giveaway.
Thank you.
That's been addressed. Okay, anything else to add to that?
No,
just spread the word. Tell your friends to come. We just finalized the food today, so there will be some food.
Okay, now you said the magic word.
Yeah, I'll be there for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think this will be our last COA meeting. So thank you guys for welcoming us into this group. And we've learned a lot from you guys and a lot about the community as a whole. It's been great.
And the pancakes, were the pancakes this morning good? Did you enjoy the Did you get to eat pancakes this morning?
No, we didn't. I don't know why we didn't ask to have some, but no, we didn't. Everybody else was enjoying it.
You were answering phones.
Answering phones and serving. They were very busy today. We were all very busy today.
I just want to say that I'm really grateful for what Katie and Gianna have done this semester. Next week will be the workshop, and then there's only one more week left. Then they have to do a poster presentation for the class, but they've done a great job, and they've really done a great job spreading the word about the Code Red program. They've helped to deliver COVID test kits, so they've really done a great job researching all the different safety opportunities. And so I'm looking forward to next week also. If you can come and you can spread the word, that'd be great.
Perfect.
Thanks,
so Joan, I just took down, Giselle just asked if we could send her some information about the event. So I jotted down her email address, so we'll get some information out to her. So thank you.
Yeah, well, we can do that, Janet. We can do that.
Okay, you can do that. Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
This is your last day, your last Wednesday. Your last Wednesday before Code Red, that is. Yeah. Okay, that would be great. And again, thank you very, very much. It's been great to have your energy and your confidence and your leadership capabilities. So thank you very much for joining us.
Aw, thanks for having us.
Come back and visit. You don't have to wait.
We definitely will.
You don't have to wait till you're 60 to come visit. All right. So director's report. Do you want me to put it up, Joan, or did people need to take a look at it? Or?
You can put it up so I remember what I'm talking about.
Okay, why don't I have it open anymore? Hold on.
I'm not sure which order you had it in.
That's okay. I may have just closed it down. So for some reason.
All right. So on my end, it says ARPA funds first. I don't know if you want to talk about that first, or if you want me to just go over my priorities, or. So what were you going to put up? The my report that I sent you?
Yeah. Did everybody get a chance to look at it? Yes.
Yes. Yep. Got it here.
Okay.
So we served 110 people and 422 swipes of the card, and hopefully everybody, we've been signing up a lot of new people and a lot of new swipe cards. My senior center, I think having the mass mailing in March was a big plus. We really need, even though it's expensive, we need to do that at least quarterly. It does get the word out there. I think, folks, it's kind of, people get busy in their own life. They forget, you know, what services we have to offer. And I think just getting a mailing of the newsletter is very important. Our van is starting to pick up 100 rides for 22 people. So they just received their frontline hero buttons because they worked through the pandemic. So they have these badges that we got from Frida.
Oh, great.
That they were frontline workers. And I do tell, everybody says how nice they are and how much they appreciate them. I always pass that on to the drivers and to all my staff.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. They're two really good folks, good guys.
I continue to be part of the Highland Valley group, and you know, you forget the hill towns and everybody that's so important. But we do have some things in common, you know, and just getting the word out what we're doing in Southampton, which is part of the meeting, is really beneficial. And we obviously, you saw hopefully everybody got to read the article in the paper. Front page. It was very exciting to have an interview and to have a photo and to be, you know, in the headlines. That was right after the select board meeting. So, and Jenna has someone too put something in the reminder. So we got back-to-back articles, one in the Gazette and one in the Reminder.
Yeah, just for clarification, he came to me. I did not go to him. So, yeah.
They came to us as well. They must have heard about the select board or anyway, that we're very happy for that. Today we had Kelly Peace come in, who is a possible candidate for it will be a candidate for our state rep position now that Lindsay's moving up to Northampton. And I gave him, he wasn't aware of the article, so I gave him a copy of the articles. People gave us a few extra copies, so I want to make sure people get to read it. And I think just learning more about Red was great for me. So it was a nice article. So unfortunately, our Memory Cafe, we had 4 people signed up and no one attended. So I didn't bill for that this month. So we knew that same week that Sarah the Fiddler had gone to Huntington to their Memory Cafe and drew a crowd of 50 plus. So Janet said, well, get Sarah the Fiddler. And so we did. She was available and she has connections. She worked in hospice at the Holyoke Soldiers Home. So she's not only an entertainer, she also has worked with the senior population and some of the memory people with memory issues at the Soldiers Home. So she's coming on the 21st and we already have 23 people signed up. So we should have a good attendance. And we're going to have Sarah the Fiddler / education on Alzheimer's and memory cafes. So I'm hoping for a good day. If the weather's nice, we might even have it outside under our awning. But that means we have to bring the chairs out. So we'll see how the day is. It might be a little noisy in the town hall that day, just so you know.
So we have double doors that close us off. In single door and then a double door down the hall, so there shouldn't be any concerns about that. I guess I guess for those people that may be in this field, if they know of any dynamic people that can talk about not so much Alzheimer's but memory loss and you know, just kind of bring a message before Sarah goes on to play. I mean, I think we need to always look for the educational part. I think we all have, you know, I have some memory loss, you know, and you never know. So I'm very interested in learning more about it. So if anybody has any thoughts of anyone that they know is or in their travels would be a dynamic person to bring in for the first 15 minutes, or 20 minutes, just to go over, you know, I think of how Nancy brought in somebody from PACE that was, I think, very good. I know she dealt with the caretakers, but either way, just let Joan know, let me know, whatever. And we want to add some education to that as well. But certainly, I think Sarah is a big draw. But we want to stay true to the program. Okay.
I think we'll look into the MCOA toolkit. There may be some handouts or something we can get from the toolkit on, you know, hints and, you know, anyway, information. And Giselle says she can help. So that must be some of her background. And we have her email, so that's great.
Okay, good.
I have a memory care program at our ADH, and I recently wrote an article for the African American point of view. So
okay,
I can help, or I can get you someone that will be great to speak as well.
When do you do it weekly or monthly?
I did it for the Health Matters article, so it's coming out in May. So the article I wrote will be out in May, and it talks about how adult day health changes the face of Alzheimer's and allowing people to keep their loved ones at home.
Great.
Okay, great. We will be in touch. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
So the technical support, we're going to carry through April. Of course, you know, it was part of the CARES Act, which ended in December, and we've been carrying it through. We still have 2 or 3 people coming every week, but I think, and we could reinitiate it, you know, if we have an interest. We did start a new Mahjong group that's at the same time, and we had 8 or 10 people come for Mahjong. So, I mean, it's not really a conflict. If there's a need, we can have her come, or we can have people, you know, she left her business card so she could even go to their homes if they needed assistance.
I think I'd hate to cut it off as people are starting to come back out after the winter. So let's talk about it a little bit more, unless Megan is thinking about winding down if it's not working.
Okay.
For her.
All right. We had carried it over for 4 months, but I can revisit that. Sure.
I mean, certainly based on our fundings, we certainly have enough money right now for that, right? So
correct.
Okay.
So Joan, so there's a calendar in the newsletter each month, right?
Correct.
So it lists the technical support for Mondays. Is there, have you had a paragraph in there recently in the newsletter itself, in the body of the newsletter, just talking about it, calling it to people's attention?
I don't have the April newsletter in front of me, but I have, it didn't have the front page like we did originally, but yes, there was a square that mentioned the tech support. I think it was in the April. It could have been in the March. But
it was in the March. It was in the March.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to include, like you include a lot of the classes in the boxes. I would think it'd be a good thing to keep that, and maybe the loaner program for the tablets too.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. Yeah, it didn't come out on this one.
Well, if it was in the March one, it was a combination. It was the tech support and loan program. So if you just want me to carry that over every month, I can do that. Let me check with Megan and make sure she's okay with May.
Yep, check with her. Okay, I know next on my listing was the program coordinator search and volunteer coordinator opening. So you may want to share that news.
Okay, so I'm disappointed. After 8 years, Flo Collins has given her notice. She reached her 8th decade, and I think she really wants to enjoy her retirement. So she's given me till the 30th of June. We're counting out. She has 23 working days left. She works 2 days a week. So I understand. I guess I'm not surprised, but I'm saddened, but I'm not surprised because she has been a mainstay and she knows everyone in town, and she's really been great to work with.
Yeah, during the transition period, she was the constant in before Joan came on board. So she's been instrumental and kind of the glue before Joan came on board, even.
And she does so many important things. She does all the service lists that we have. She just, I don't know if you remember getting something in the mail with your census. It has to do with community caring services. So she handles that program pretty much by herself, except when she's not there, we have to handle it. But It gives out services to people, and then there's a follow-up with referrals, and it's involved. She does all the RSVP, which is their retired senior volunteers. We report to Northampton on all those hours. So in her few hours a week, which is what, 5 hours a week, she does so much. And I have thoughts of maybe combining her job, although we can't do it in this budget, and we may not be able to do it in the next budget, but maybe looking at, getting one position under, 18 hours. We have a 14-hour position and a 5-hour position, make it a non-benefited. I don't know what we can do, but
I was thinking about it since just throw out some ideas. So, I mean, Flo worked 5 hours a week because she didn't want to work more than 5 hours a week at this point in time. So there's no reason, since she's funded by the state formula grant, that position can't be expanded. I mean, we can't probably double it because we'll really chew up all the state formula grant, but I think we should investigate expanding those hours, because you're left without people unless there's a volunteer to do things like answering the phone. Or do we make it a volunteer outreach, or I think we need to talk a little bit and brainstorm with this group, if you're open to that, on what we could do. Because the only reason, again, that it was that few hours, it's funded by the state formula grant. We could certainly investigate getting you more support in that period of time, even if she becomes the administrative assistant and the program coordinator, does a volunteer as well. So a lot to think about, a lot of sad for Flo, opportunity, I think, to get more support in the senior center. So
I agree.
Anybody have thoughts? I know if Lori were here, she would have thoughts, but
I do have to say too that I'm disappointed with, I know I didn't get the program coordinator position on Indeed or any other places. We have it in 4 or 5 places. And we had one applicant, and she really isn't qualified. She's a retiree from Southampton. She has computer skills, but no, marketing and program coordination, events. That wasn't her thing. She worked for agriculture or something. I'm not sure. She might be okay for a different position, but I think we want somebody a little bit stronger for the program coordinator position. So
I've noticed we have money left in our expense account, but we haven't used Indeed yet. So I'm just confused as to the logic there.
Might be a very good use of Indeed, or of the expense account.
That's we do have funds to be able to use something in a very practical way.
I will work on that. There was something from Indeed that came through the mail, believe it or not, addressed to Jennifer Peliquin. So I saved it.
Okay, good. Anybody else have any thoughts about the opening or comments for
what is Indeed? Obviously, it's a website where people go to look for jobs, but if it costs money, is it an efficient use of it for our circumstances? Because I'm wondering, who uses it? The college students or people just looking for who would fit our demographics. That's what I'm trying to say. When I was in sales for broadcasting, we used to call it cost per thousand. So, I mean, by spending money on the program, are we reaching our target audience is all I'm curious about.
Yeah, I think you would reach a wider diversity of folks with somebody like Indeed. So I'll give you an example. When I was in the assessor's office and we were looking for someone as an administrative assistant, we used Indeed, but we didn't pay for it. So there's a free version, and we've got inundated with unqualified applicants. So when you pay for the uses of Indeed, my understanding, at least there's some qualifications that are addressed up front so that we're not just getting everybody's resume that's on Indeed. So and to me, it can't hurt to try it for a month. As Joan said, she's had it in 4 or 5 places. We really only have had one applicant that really has not been qualified
Right.
based on the job description. So unless you have a better idea, I'm
No, she just expressed a concern about the cost. And, I'm probably the oldest person here. And I sort of represent a segment of the population that was at one time computer literate, but since having retired like 20 years ago, I don't use computers anymore. And in fact, I was out today for coffee and we were talking about the use of cell phones among seniors. And I was informed that the person with whom I was having coffee was a little bit older than me, keeps his cell phone in his car and only turns it on when it's necessary to make an emergency call. So, I mean, it's just the idea of
that's
matching
not
our needs.
Right. That wouldn't be our target audience.
Yeah.
We need somebody that's computer literate. We need somebody that with marketing experience. We need
I appreciate that.
I was just trying to.
I just wanted to say, you're saying Indeed meets that criteria. That's fine. That's fine with me.
I mean, it's a well-utilized program. And we tried to go to a couple different communities, colleges, and it was a bear to try to find the right way to load the job description at Stick and one other. So I gave up a little bit on doing that. And I tried
We have UMass students here. I wonder if they have a career center. And what do you do when you're looking for jobs? Is there a place? I know it used to be classified ads, but I don't know if they do that anymore.
I haven't used the Career Center at UMass yet, but I know that they do have one. I'm not sure if you'd run into the same problems though that you did at Stick. Was it a technology issue uploading the description?
Yeah, trying to find the right person to get it uploaded. Yeah, it was easy to find the careers that are being advertised, but the avenue to get there is mostly, a lot of it was internal to Stick, job postings internal to Stick too. So,
okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think Indeed is a good way, so long as you just, do it for a certain period of time, like 2 months. When we were looking for our accountant, we actually waited quite a long time and we were doing the usual municipal sites and we weren't getting anything at all. As soon as we put into Indeed, we got a lot of applicants. And that was even filtered, like Janet said, because we actually paid for it. So I think ZipRecruiter and Indeed and Glassdoor and some of these places, I think that's the way to go now. Unless you're going to like HCC, I think the position does say preferred associate's degree or something.
Yes.
I think that, I don't think we're looking for senior citizens per se. I think we're looking for people with a social service background who's organized. And, the difficulty might be it's only 14 hours a week. So that's going to be the downside of somebody that might be right out of school that would want benefits. But I think Indeed for like a 60-day period is a good plan.
I mean, the good news is that people are benefited on their parents' health insurance till 26. So even if they have a couple of years without benefits,
That's
right?
true. Yeah, that's true.
But, and I just saw our newest friend, and Giselle's going to come to every meeting from now on. She could share, if you can send that to her, Joan, too. She'll share the job posting with her network.
Oh, thank you.
Great.
Bring more friends, Giselle, to the next meeting, okay?
Well, I have like 5 more friends that want to come next meeting.
All right. And then the thing after that.
Janet, can I say something?
Yes, please.
I'm just gonna have to sign off. We have a select board meeting tonight with the finance committee. And so I'm gonna have to go early. And I know that Gianna and Katie also are signing off a little bit early. I just wanna let people know that the MRC, which is the Medical Reserve Corps in Northampton, is setting up second boosters for anybody that wants it. I just volunteered to do a clinic coming up. So if you're looking to get another one, there's gonna be plenty of opportunity besides the pharmacies. And right now, there's a good number of COVID test kits that are now located at the Board of Health. And also there's some still at the Senior Center. So if you need any of that, please access them, okay?
Great.
We have had calls for that, and I did send them to Walgreens or CVS, but if you know, if you get a date for me and a location, let me know.
Well, it's already set up. I just signed up to do to give vaccines on the 11th of April. So they're setting up, you know, the Elks again, just because there's going to be a number of people over 50 that want to get the second booster.
Is that
right? Pardon me?
Yes.
I mean, I'm doing Elks in
Northampton.
But I think the Board of Health might be looking to, Jerry was telling me that they might be looking to actually do a clinic in Southampton. But the problem is, I think they're looking to do it on a Wednesday. And so she was just saying, I'm not sure if it's going to work. Last time we did 2 clinics in town. The first one was very well attended. The second one was less so. So I don't know if there's a need or not, but I think that's still being discussed. But they're already set up, you know, the website for the Northampton Health Department. Yeah, that's where all the dates are located. Thank you.
Thanks, ladies.
Just so you know, I was in Northampton earlier in Thorns, and they have a sign that they're doing COVID shots.
Where in Northampton? In Thorns?
Thorns, yeah, upstairs. And now I didn't study the sign or anything, but I took note of it that it's there, that they're going to be doing COVID boosters. So
Great.
That might be something to look into.
All right.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Us.
Bye.
Okay. So budget meet. So let's think about the volunteer coordinator. Well, we can start advertising earlier, how you want to describe it. Anybody else have any thoughts of position? Again, we should be able to expand it a little more than 5 hours a week. And let's think about it and see what you think, Joan, too. Okay. It's a good time to gradually make changes as we may, expand. We want to keep expanding our program. So you want to just touch base on the budget meeting with finance?
So we brought on the budget, the FY23 budget to the finance meeting. There were not many questions. It was, we're hopefully potentially funding the program coordinator position. So it was added, and it would be at the same ratio as the admin assistant, or it would be 70% would be paid by the wage line and 30% would be paid by the formula grant. So as Rainey said, it sounded like they didn't have any questions about, funding the COA budget. So I'm hoping that it went well. Janet was there.
That's budget 1, though. That's not necessarily the, as they call it, our wish list. So we'll see. Okay. And I just wanted to, again, I think it's great that people are coming in to see Sarah, and that it is an attraction. And I think maybe we needed a little name recognition to pique interest. We don't want to get away from maybe our main theme, but I did want to share, I created a new flyer and
nice
for this one. I think, as I read through this, and I'm open to suggestions, because I am not a graphic artist. I am, that part of my brain isn't really well developed. So I'm happy to take any feedback. I just asked Sarah to send some pictures, and she sent a bunch, and I looked up Alzheimer's, and purple is their color. So I added a little bit of that, and then I deleted a little bit of information. Maybe we want to reach out to all people with any kind of memory issues, memory loss, and maybe we've made it too narrow. And made it maybe scared away people by, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out, maybe we may need to make it try to make it attractive to all levels of memory loss. Just a thought. And I'm first, any comments on this new flyer that we can look for places to put it? And do we need to delete? And you can send me messages, and I think I sent it out. Sent it out a little bit. So
I love the photo. It's a great photo. Antique car in the back. I think DopaFit, well, no, I can't say that. DopaFit was closed for some reason. I'm not sure of why, but anyway, I think that would have been a great place, but maybe like the urgent care and a few places in town where our seniors go.
So I put a few places on the list because, I don't think urgent care posts things because we've gone in there before. And I still think they're not leaving things around, so.
No, but if any of us or any person that we know has ever received the services of urgent care or the rehab center, because, I know they don't even have flyers anymore.
Right.
Like for themselves. Just to talk to the front desk, especially if we know somebody there, if any of you or know in any of you included a list of possible places, the email that you sent. Just to either give them a call or stop by, show one of the flyers and can you just mention these to your clients? Because I know that some places, even the dentists, they don't have anything, no magazines, nothing. But, if we can just mention it to them, the importance of passing the word and letting them know, leave one just for information, just leave one that they can either put on their window or for them to remember to mention it to their clients.
We can certainly take a couple or a few for the church. I don't need 20. I don't need 15, just, a few. But there are a couple of places that we can post it, put them up.
Are we able to make colored flyers?
Not that I'm aware of. But...
No, I was addressing Janet. I think
you may have to send it to Paradise Copies or somebody like that and just have them print up, or we can email them. So the people, Sylvia.
One thing about, I opened it before the meeting and because I could email it to people.
Mm-hmm. I think this isn't the one I sent you. It's just modified a little bit. So.
Oh, okay. Because I noticed in the one that I was able to open is that the last line comes into the second page. So that's one detail that
I think it was probably a Word document I sent you, and I will PDF it before I send it out for the final.
Okay. That's it.
In Red Rock Plaza, there's that Center for Parkinson's patients.
That's Stopefit, yeah.
That might be a good place to post.
We had put one, I think, in there originally. Susan?
All right, so they were closed, I think, the last 2 weeks. Chad was away and they've had a staff change. But I think, just to let you know, they should be open again starting this week. They're a Tuesday, Thursday program, I think. So I know those mornings, really starting at 10 or 11, they're open. But I'm happy to get one there if that's helpful.
Okay.
Great.
That was my bad because I know they are a Thursday program and we put our memory cafes on Thursdays. So it's very difficult for their folks to attend. So maybe in the future, we might consider changing a date, maybe in the fall or something.
Okay.
Trying a different date.
So the other places I mentioned were sending it to Highland Valley. So the people that do Meals on Wheels, can they deliver a flyer with their meals, for example? Can we contact Holyoke or Cooley Dickinson VNA? We have always had people. Care One, I don't know if we know anybody there. Where did Nancy go?
Yes.
She had to leave.
Nancy left me, okay. But you have a contact at Care One.
Yeah, her name is Trisha Gendron, and I'm not sure if she's in marketing or what she's in, but she would gladly take that.
Help us distribute it. And other COAs like Easthampton, Northampton, Westhampton, certainly on our Facebook page. The library, get an updated one from the library. The new one at the police station. Darcy owns and runs the hair station. She's always very happy to put something in the window there. Maybe we get a few that are 11 by 17, so they're not lost in all the other 11 or 8.5 by 11. So, and then let me just share with you, Sylvia is my research queen. Okay, hold on a second though. What happened to your documents in the Sylvia? Okay, sorry.
Well,
I'm coming.
Well, you look it up. Joan, were you able to get in touch with Hampshire Regional, the contact that I sent you?
I think Janet had something to do with Tiger. Is that Tiger?
No, that would be Norris.
That's Norris.
Okay, no, I have not reached out to Hampshire Regional yet.
Okay, I did send you the contact of the administrative assistant that works with the principal, because the principal is the one that works on the newsletter. So I'll try to find the contact again and forward it to you again.
Well, Sylvia, if you get this electronically, can you just send it to the contact?
Sure.
On behalf of the,
I'll do it.
So Meals on Wheels is Highland Valley, right? They do our Meals on Wheels here in the area. So we could do one to Highland Valley. Josie's offered to put one in their church. We can certainly put one in our library. Cooley Dickinson. I think the urgent care is so in and out, and the rehab is in and out. I think we have a better chance of reaching out to their VNA people. Just my personal thought. I know people that go into urgent care are usually either pretty sick or pretty hurt. And, but again, like you said, the front desk might know. Police, fire department, they don't get a lot of traffic, I don't think. So Salon Advantage, I don't know people there, but if somebody does.
I will do that.
Okay.
I will do Salon Advantages.
Norris School, for some reason I sent it twice to Mickey, and for twice it went to cyberspace. So I sent it out again this week for both the newsletter for the walk and for the Sarah the Fiddler. Amherst, Hadley, South Hadley, Granby.
Can we go back to Northampton just for a second? Sure. Mm-hmm. So their assistant director left a couple months ago, and currently their director is out. So I'm not sure who's in charge over there.
No, a quick call would do it, right? So their director is out. I'm sure
there's some issues going on in Northampton at this time.
Oh, okay. We can get some printed out, and I can ask to post one at the senior center by stopping there. You have contacts in Hadley, you have contacts in South Hadley, right? I mean, it could be one email.
There's a link of maybe 50 senior center directors. I could send it to all of them.
Okay. So Loomis Village in South Hadley, Rockridge in Northampton, that's a good one. The Lathrops, both in Northampton and Easthampton. So there's a Lathrop community in Easthampton on Florence Road off of Applewood. Now, so these are all, as long as they're not hospices, they're good places where people may benefit from something like this.
Isn't there a tree house as well?
That I'm not sure how that functions. That's kind of a co-community.
Yeah, but I know one of the seniors from Easthampton comes to our place.
So maybe she could be willing to post it. Right? Good.
Well, I added to the list, and I'll see if I can get it there.
Okay.
They have a community room in there.
Yeah.
A long time ago, I went to a birthday party there, and it is a nice community room, and there's a bulletin board there. I haven't been there in a few years, but.
Oh, and there may be a bulletin board at the villages, the South, no, is it the village or the Meadows?
The Meadows, Southampton, yeah.
128 College Highway.
Does somebody come in from there?
So it's been seniors that are coming. They haven't been coming. Originally, we had somebody, they've had turnover 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
But there might be an email, or we can actually, our van goes there quite often. Maybe our van drivers could drop things off.
We could also try to contact the manager there. So just even walking in, and then some assistant living places. So
nice resources. Good job.
Sylvia is amazing researcher.
This list is from Sylvia?
This is from Sylvia, yes.
Oh, thank you. That's a wonderful list.
I put a couple blah blahs in an email, and she comes up with, so.
When we do our health fair, I think Hadley's doing a health fair in June, but when we do ours in the fall, we'll have to use a lot of this.
Yeah, that's a good list to have. Did I send this out? I don't know that I sent it out. So we will definitely.
I I think you did send it with a Zoom link. Yeah, and yes,
okay.
you did send
With
it.
the attachments, okay.
So what's the channels 191, 192, and 193?
Well, 191 is the Southampton local where we watch.
Right, I understand that.
So 192 maybe Northampton, or 193 maybe Northampton. So I don't, do you know, Sylvia, which ones cover what?
I think one is it's only for Easthampton. Like our stuff would not show there, or vice versa.
Well, 191 is Easthampton and Southampton.
True.
So,
but the other two, the only thing I've seen there is talks, you know, just people talking, and I can never quite figure it out where they from.
okay.
And I don't stay long enough watching it to figure it out.
So that
And
would
the
be
guy
Easthampton,
doesn't tell you. I'm sorry?
Easthampton Media. If we reached out to Easthampton Media.
If we send them the flyer, well, I'll put it in a PDF. We'll send it to Robert Floyd again and get it in his newsletter. Okay. But what is the maximum number of people that you think you can have there?
Well, 75, but I don't know that we want 75.
Even in, we're not quite, we're still safe distancing, right?
No.
No?
We're not at this point. And we
Okay.
talked about having it outside if the weather's good.
Yeah.
But we can't count on that.
So we have somebody named Laura Lavoie, president and founder of Our Dimension Life. She would be a great guest speaker.
Thank you.
Did you capture that?
I see it. It's in the chat. So we'll keep track of that, and we'll.
Okay. Just so you're getting a message from Jim. Do you see that?
Yes, I do. I'm going to reply now.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I mean, this is a great list. I guess we have to kind of figure out how we can divide and conquer. So if everybody would take a look at it and maybe get back to Joan and I, and I can get some printed out. We can email it to group places. I mean, you have the large email address, right? So you'll email it, Joan, out to all the senior centers. So that's off. And Highland Valley, because you have good context there.
Mm-hmm.
Josie with the church. I'll try to find something at Cooley Dick, see what I can find out from Cooley Dickinson. Not the urgent care as much as the VNA.
I'll do Salon Advantages, Hampshire Regional, urgent care, and the rehab place next to urgent care.
Okay. And I did North School.
It's unfortunate that we can't get the May program because the April one is upon us. It would almost, I know originally we had put like all the dates. I know all the dates is too many, but maybe if we could, before it goes out, find out what the May program is, so that that money is well spent, so that we not only get a big boom on April, but it'll continue into May.
So if we're going to do somebody, I don't want to take away from Sarah. So I just want to make sure that that's not it.
Maybe we could add, I had added the date, just say,
I don't want to imply that Sarah's going to be there the next month either. That's
okay. That's fine.
If we get it out this, by early next week, let's try it. And in the meantime, we can get them out earlier and secure somebody.
The other thing is that I did, right away, I got in touch with Mr. Lumbra, but there's scholarships from the Lions Club that are taking precedence, but that ends April 10 or 15. 15. I'm not sure. That's
the 15th is when they're done.
After that is going to go.
Okay, all right.
But I did get in touch with him right away.
Okay, good, great. All right. Anything else from anybody?
I'm sorry, go ahead, Jonathan.
I'll do, if they're not already spoken for, I'll do the library and the police and fire departments.
Okay.
But I'll need, and where do I just pick them up at the senior center?
Well, I'm gonna have to send the PDF to Paradise Copies and get it printed, get a bunch printed up.
Right, and then how do we get?
And I'll let you know. Then I'll let you know when they're available, in either here or the COA.
I was going to suggest too that we might want to contact the various veterans agents in the various towns,
Yeah,
Northampton, Southampton.
Could let Jerry know right in Southampton. Has Jerry ever been involved, Joan, with this?
He works full time, so not much. His name
Okay.
is up on the board, and we have you know, I've met him once or twice.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him in there when I've gone upstairs for meetings. So
Yeah.
he probably has a mailbox if you even put something in there and just ask him to post it, right?
Or maybe an email might work for him.
Yep.
Yeah. And, you know, Easthampton and Northampton too, I'd recommend.
We have to find out who the vet agents are for them, right?
Right.
So I think, Sylvia, it's a great list. What you're thinking on doing the senior centers? Why did you decide to include the senior centers on the other side of the river? Do you think there's a good chance that people will come?
The communities and the services in the area know each other. And, you know, on one hand, on the other hand, people have friends their age in the communities, you know, around. And so, like, you know, I heard that, you know, your community is having, Southampton is having such and such a thing. You know, you think I can go? Or, you know, just, I saw these, did you know about that? Just, you know, by...
Plus the grant does push for collaboration and for partnership with other towns. So they look forward to that, having people from other communities. It's not just Southampton, although we've concentrated, we're trying to get Southampton, but we're supposed to encompass, you know, surrounding communities as well.
And also, I don't think those centers have memory cafes. I think we do in maybe Westhampton, I'm not sure, but I don't think those centers have memory cafes. So that's why
They may know some people that would be, interested to, so. Yeah. Okay, great, good. So one thing I skipped, the Volunteer of the Year luncheon. So that's coming up.
So we want to have a little discussion about that, but this is prior to the Friends meeting because the Friends meeting is not till next Tuesday.
Okay, so we can talk about it in May after you speak to the Friends. But so for a number of years, there was a very sort of, I don't know the word.
Formal? Or
no, yeah, I mean, but it was really specific to the volunteers that had really gone above and beyond. And there was a very nice luncheon. It was catered and, you know, tablecloths and everything. And then when COVID came, we missed a year. And then last year, because last summer, COVID was still kind of doing its thing in June, Joan combined it with a picnic, and because the Friends usually have a picnic in June. So I think the discussion that Joan was thinking about was whether we should continue to combine it or should we go back to two separate things. The Friends have their picnic and the Council on Aging has their recognition luncheon for the volunteers. So that's, I think, kind of summarizes the discussion that they'll probably have next week. I don't know if anybody feels one way or the other. Flory was here because she's been involved in the COA a really long time. She remembers the volunteer luncheons. And I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts. One way or the other.
I attended last year's, which was a combination. I had not been in any of the previous ones that have been separate. And I thought it was a nice, and I knew that had been separate events in the past, but not having attended any of them, I thought it was a nice combination of the Friends also being present to, applaud the volunteers. I just, thought it was nice. And by the way, Joan, remember those little plantitas that you put at the tables? Those little, what's the name of the plants? I can't remember.
Well, they weren't pansies. I don't remember.
No. They were coleus. Coleus, is that the name?
Yeah, I think they were.
Yes.
I have them. They're about this big. I put them in big pots. And I'm just waiting for the good weather, for the sunny weather to come and they'll go out.
I'd love to see a picture sometime.
I'll send them to you the way they are right now. I did not throw them away. I immediately transplanted into a bigger pot, and I have them in my sunroom.
Very
Stay
nice.
with me the whole winter.
Okay, so I think you'll have a good discussion probably at the Friends meeting next week. So it's, I mean, it was always a very special way to recognize volunteers. And if volunteers feel one way or the other, I guess is the big question. And I don't want them, you know, last year was nice as well. I think that was nice, but the Friends also had their own thing. So we also don't want to, you know, we want to be sensitive to everybody's territory, so to speak. So we'll see.
Thanks for bringing that to my attention.
What happens next week.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So annual meeting in May is the annual meeting. The first Wednesday in May. We'll have the election of officers, the recruitment of new members and associate members. It's because we also have room for 2 additional members, non-voting members. So we'll look forward to. I know Lori's term is up. She, you know, our bylaws say, our guidance say 2 terms, 2 full terms, and they have to step back for a year and kind of refresh the board a little bit, which is not always easy to do, but I think a good thing to do. So I'm hoping that we get Susan back next month if she's still interested.
Oh yeah, very interested.
Talk about it. And we'll have election of officers. So get ready.
Does she have to fill out the
What
form?
May 1? The first Wednesday in May. So
May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
thank you, the 4th.
I just had a question. Does she have to fill out the form to be on the?
Yeah, well, you know, if we vote to recommend Susan, she'll tell us a little bit more about her background. Then there's a volunteer form that would go to the select board because we only make recommendations, Susan, and the select board appoints. So then you have to fill out a 1-page volunteer form and along with our recommendation. Okay.
I had a question about the next meeting. Can we still be on Zoom for the annual meeting?
That's coming up in schedule next meeting.
Oh, sorry. I'm always putting that cart before the horse. I apologize.
We can get off topic, but we will. Let's just wait till the very end. Okay, so Walk Massachusetts Kickoff. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to go online and take a look at Walk Massachusetts. Josie, did you?
I did, and I don't know if you want to hear this or not.
Go ahead.
I was really excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it sounds very interesting. But then, you know, you have to sign that you have read and agree with their privacy policy. Frankly, I thought their privacy policy was a non-privacy policy. Because if you sign up, then you have to agree to have them, you know, give away your email and information so that they can, you know, do advertising and or send you ads. And
I thought the second thing was, do you want to get emails and things when you signed up? There were 2 boxes.
I don't remember seeing an option. I could be wrong, and maybe I should go back and look at that.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just too naive. So I probably just said, go ahead, whatever.
You know, in a lot of cases, I just say yes and don't even bother looking at that stuff because it usually seems so boilerplate. But I decided to look at it, and I thought, they're not keeping my information private, or it didn't appear to be. Now, I'd be happy to sign up and would love to sign up if they're not going to share my information. But I get too many emails, too much junk mail, and I'm trying to get rid of that. So
I already signed up and I'm just knew I was going to do it. So I didn't really read the fine print. So I probably can't get in to see what that was.
I'm gonna do that tomorrow, most likely, and I can look at it as well.
Yeah, I know there were 2 boxes to click, right?
I only remember seeing one, but
there was a privacy policy. Then there was another one about, I thought it was about receiving communications and stuff, but that may be different than what you're talking about.
I thought at one time it was MCOA that was doing it, but it sounds like it's in a whole different organization.
Why do you say that?
Well, it's called Walk Mass Challenge. I didn't know if MCOA is backing it or if they got a third party to handle it.
So I see their logo right here at the top.
Right. But the email is not an MCOA email.
Well, the link that goes where you sign up.
Right.
You mean, yeah. Because it's probably by, I don't know if it's administered by CPA Promo, powered by ReadySetPromo.com. Yeah, so I mean,
the privacy policy.
I can't get to it now.
Oh, it's right at the bottom there.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. Was it there?
Yeah, go down. And the last one, I'm
right.
pointing to it, but you can't see it. On the right.
To the right.
In green.
Privacy policy.
Further up.
Above it.
There.
Thank you. Under my nose. Yeah, it is MCOA.
Okay.
Well, it says there it does not sell, share, but then further down.
From time to time, MCOA may contact you via email for a purpose of providing announcements, updates, alert, confirmations. You may opt out of these communications at any time.
Okay, I didn't see where I could opt out of them.
Yeah, that's what it says here. Do you guys see this or yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So,
well, if I can opt out, then I certainly
will opt in.
I would certainly sign up.
yeah, it says you may opt out of these communications at any time. So
yeah, they usually offer at the bottom of the document when you start receiving them, unsubscribe. Just click in there, and then sometimes they ask you some questions. Sometimes they immediately tell you unsubscribe. You got to wait about a week for it to start.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to handle it. They may be that way or some other way. So time will tell. So anyway,
okay.
My registration. I'm going to walk 192 miles, run, walk, or jog. And it's like walking the coast of Massachusetts. So
can you count your pickleball steps?
We wish.
Why not? I don't know. I have dogs that get walked daily pretty much. So I don't have to worry. It's logging it. You have to go in to log it. I don't think you have to log it every day. You have to go kind of track it every day and then log it, go in and to log it or something. So, but if you track on your phone, that the data's there anyway. So anyway, if you get a chance to make sure you log in, and we'll try to raise some money for this Council on Aging. And
okay,
then
well, thanks for looking into that for me, because that really bothered me that they were just.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out, because it's better to address it. And sorry, I couldn't see the big words, privacy policy, right at the bottom of the document. Okay, so anyway, now I just have to remember to log it.
Well, I have a question, because I'm so confused about this. So have we done this before?
They had it last year, and we had about 4 or 5 participants, but they didn't have the prizes they have this year, the incentives.
But there's a drawing for that, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing there's no automatic award to our COA.
Right.
I think everyone got a Duncan card last time, but maybe they didn't have as many participants.
Well, that's for the individuals. I'm just wondering, to what extent are we encouraged? I mean, if we're encouraging people to do this in Southampton, do we really have that much of a chance to win? I mean, all of us get exercise. Many of us do, at least, get plenty of exercise.
We hope, not always, but we hope so. It's a good thing we're an active community, but there are a lot of couch potatoes out there too.
Oh, you're right, but I'm just thinking about to what degree is there an incentive for the COA to encourage participation in this at the monetary level? I'm not talking about we care about fitness, which we do. So is there a realistic monetary incentive here for our COA?
Possibility of $1,000. You're right. What are the chances that we'll get the 1,000? It's, you know, I don't know what the percentage is, but
aren't there some lower, a couple of possibilities for
gifts,
awards,
prizes, awards?
I thought some of that was on the end. Most of that was on the individual level, though, like the Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
I guess it's just a nice activity to promote, and maybe we can encourage other people, and maybe Joan can, or her new program coordinator someday would be able to kind of track it and just show a collective effort, energy from the Council on Aging, because people are going to be, you know, watching how many people participate in different things in the COA when it comes to whether we need a new COA or not. So. You know, I'd like to encourage any kind of, I'm just trying to find more information.
So do we have that in the April? We have it in the April newsletter, right?
It was in the March and the April newsletter.
And one was an FAQ, and then one was kind of an outline of it. Oops, what happened?
Who's that?
What did I just do?
I don't know. You have a family picture. Somebody's family
my
birthday.
family picture's up. Yeah, I must have closed something. Hold on.
That's half the population of the town.
But
my mother's 90th birthday.
Is that's your mother in the middle?
In the middle?
Yes.
Yeah, I see Francine. Are you in there?
I am next to Francine. Yes. Why can't I get back to meeting? I hit back to
meeting years ago.
Okay,
where are you and where are Francine? I want to see.
There's Francine, I think, right?
I don't know why I can't get back. I hit back to meeting and it won't go there. So.
Oh, I see. This is many years ago.
Yes, she was 90 many years ago.
Okay.
So we're going to keep moving because I can't seem to get. Well, let me stop. I can't even stop here. Here we go. Oh, shoot.
That's so funny.
Memories.
Yeah. Yes, my cousins and, you know, whatever. So sorry about that. All right, real quick. So is that any other questions on Walk Mass? It's just a nice thing that the MCOA is sponsoring, and maybe we can get more people walking together. Some of the things I envision in our future, not too distant future, and I always think about, and probably mentioned to Joan in passing, are like having a hiking club, having like a gardening club. At Irving, they had raised beds and they planted vegetables outside. That's Council on Aging, and just some things that are little, you know, attract different people that have different interests. So those are some of my thoughts.
So I found it in the April newsletter. It says 16 Council on Agents will win first prize $1,000, second prize $500, and third prize $250. So one Council on Agent will win 1,000, 5 will win 500, and 10 will win 250. Plus the individual gift cards of $25 and Amazon and Dunkin' Donuts.
That's good incentive. I think that's a good thing.
Hey, after 192 miles, going to Dunkin' Donuts sounds good.
Yeah, I take the shortcut. I take the shorter route.
anytime.
Yeah.
You mean from the driveway into the shop?
Right. Well, actually, from my car to Dunkin' Donuts.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
All right, real quick. So if you have it registered and you want to participate, registrations for the month of April. New Senior Center Ad Hoc Feasibility Study Committee, another short name for committee. And we would expect that a number of people would be appointed by the select board at the next select board meeting. So we'll hopefully get that up and running and start moving forward to.
So that would be when, Janet, that they would be appointed. When was that meeting? Coming
Tuesday.
Okay.
Next Tuesday.
But the deadline was the 20th. March
Right, so we
23rd,
didn't,
right?
we extended it. They extended it at the last select board meeting.
Okay.
We were optimistic to get more people than we got immediately. People didn't jump in, but more people have jumped in. So that's the good news. So
The arm twisters are out in force, huh?
no arm twisting. No arm twisting. Strong recommendation.
There's yeah, plus there is a lot of interest, believe it or not.
Good.
So one thing I just want to mention, any other business that's not on the agenda. So maybe at the next meeting, I'd like to talk a little bit. The Housing Authority is looking to establish, working with the Select Board, a housing trust. So as you know, we are very low in our number of affordable housing units in the town. We're way behind our target goal set by the state, which is always set by the state, which is always a challenge, but we should be having around 240 and we have like 40. So one of the challenges that we have as a housing authority is when there's land available or there's a property to buy or a house that goes on the market, we have to go to the community preservation because we have money through community preservation, about 500,000. That then has to get voted on by community preservation committee, then it has to go up in front of the annual town meeting. And depending on when all those things line up, that could be months and the property's gone. So a housing trust allows us to set up a group of trustees and a trust where some money would be voted on by the town to move to the trust so that if something does come up, we can be more flexible and more reactive to utilizing and hopefully expanding affordable housing in town. So I will probably send things out to people and make them more aware of what it's all about. If we do want to establish a housing trust in town to make it more viable to bring affordable housing to our community, then that is another article on the annual or one of the town meetings. So it's just kind of a quick overview. We're working with Massachusetts Housing Partnership. We got a small grant from them and working together to kind of outline and set up bylaws and try to bring that to the town meeting maybe in the fall. So I'll try to help educate a little bit more on what that is and the value it brings to Southampton and at future meetings, or if you have questions, feel free to address them with me anytime between now and then.
Sounds very valuable.
So
we forgot to go through about the ARPA. I know we don't have a lot of time, but we were supposed to either, I don't know, at another time or just talk about possibly use for the ARPA. And I had talked to Janet earlier that Kelly Peace was at the center today and that we could possibly use that money for a feasibility study, or there's a possible grant applications for feasibility studies. I just want to touch base on that because it'll be another month before we talk about it.
Well, and again, ARPA is another 2 to 3 years. We have to spend $50,000. So I don't want to, we don't have enough information to jump at it, I think, at this meeting, but something to continue to think about. And I would have to talk to Ed regarding, does it meet the criteria for a feasibility study or not? Our town administrator would have a better handle on that, I think. So, but there are potentially grants, or we will have money from the estate that we could use for the study. And so we'll see. But yeah, I think know that we got it, and that's very exciting. And $50,000. How could we spend it? So lots of time to think about it.
So you said we have 2 to 3 years to use the ARPA funds?
Yeah, I forget if they expire in 24 or 25. I'd have to get confirmation. I don't know off the top of my head. But it's not 23 that I know. So it's either 24. Thank you, Giselle.
Giselle's a 2024. Boy, you're a wealth of knowledge, Giselle.
She knows she's got her handle on those ARPA.
I'm in Springfield politics. We got our funds.
Exactly. So yeah, I thought it was 24. So I was hoping it was 25, but yeah. So
Yeah, so Jim, that will buy a lot of Dunkin' Donut coffee.
Hey, yes.
You can't buy coffee with municipal funds. I learned that.
Oh, really?
But you can buy gift cards.
Yeah.
By gift cards.
As they say, that and $50,000 will get you a cup of coffee.
Exactly. And that's an idea though, Jonathan, that maybe we should incent the people that have our own little contest within Southampton for the people that walk for Southampton, for the top walkers or the completers, and we'll have to think about that. So, I mean, maybe the state doesn't reward everybody, but there's nothing to say that the Council on Aging in Southampton can't reward its walkers or their top walkers. So
a gift card to Fast Feet for a new pair of sneakers.
or a smoothie at Anytime Nutrition after your walk is done or something. So is my dog getting your dog to bark, Susan? Yes, I'm sorry.
I hate to interrupt, but I'm going to have to go. I have another obligation shortly.
Yes. Just real quick, indoors or Zoom next meeting? Anybody have a motion or a preference?
Are we meeting on May the 4th, is it, or
yes,
what?
It's our annual meeting. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the 4th.
I'm okay either way, so I still have to go.
Yeah, I am too.
So, bye-bye.
So I'm going to check with people like Nancy and Rini, who are kind of in motion, to see if we can squeeze in another Zoom meeting to get their attendance. That would be, probably good. At some point in time, the governor's going to say, they have to be in person, but this has been fun. We get a lot done without going anywhere, right? Or going home, right, John? So, okay, do we have a motion? So we'll keep it on Zoom, I think, for the next meeting. I'll talk to, and then I'll find out when the deadline is for Zoom meetings. Maybe we'll meet at Conant Park for a picnic or something, So do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
So 4 o'clock, May 5th. Do we have a second?
May 4th.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for dedication and your time and your input, as always.
See you on May 4th, if not before.
If not before, yes.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.